Alright then, hello everyone and welcome to the place that has got every British driver in the league running scared due to its political powers. We are here for the Belgian Grand Prix of NEF1 for round 10 of the NEF1 Championship. And my god, are we in for an exciting one. Spa-Francorchamps to start off this second half of the season, and for some reason BT is already retired from this session. As we have cars headed out on track, we have a Kit W41, we have a Noah 48 heading out on track. We have there's a couple of cars coming out of Mercedes garage. That'd be Recon 21. So then, Spa-Francorchamps yet again here in NEF1, a track that we overlooked at the beginning of the NEF1 venture. Now has become a staple of the calendar. We race here every single season now, basically, for good and bad. We welcome back Undertech to a full-time seat in NEF1. He has replaced Spenclose64 in Williams. Spenclose had to drop out of the league for personal reasons at the moment. We wish him all the best in dealing with it. Undertech is going to continue this second stretch of the season alongside Squidge 2017 in Williams. They are going for that championship. For the second time it would be Williams for the Constructors' Championship, but Red Bull has pulled away in the standings. Djokovic, speaking of champions, out on circuit at the moment. He is going through the second sector now, I believe this is. I'm really bad at corner names at Spa, so I'm not going to try to repeat those. A lot of race winners on the grid tonight. I don't know if it's even a majority of the field. Let's see. J-Moss won a race. That's 1. 2 with Matty. 3 with Undercheck, 4 with Nassi. 5 with Djokovic. 6 with Squidge. 7 with Wigan. 8 with Tess. And 9 with Iwatts. Exactly half of the grid has won a race in NEF1. Still a 0 next to Noah's win column in NEF1. He would love to change that tonight. Is there a chance? It is looking very unlikely. We'll wait and see, but I wouldn't expect too much of him. Those who know why I left that comment, they know. So a couple of people will be in contention for this one and trying to take that win away from Noah. If I have to eat my own words after this race, I'll be incredibly embarrassed. Tess is the big favourite heading into this race, him along with Squidge, and you would imagine Undercheck will be up there, the usual contender. Squidge's podium streak ending last week, if I'm not mistaken, the first race of the podium this entire season. So there's a massive streak for Squidge, but it just couldn't carry through into the second half. Still incredibly impressive nonetheless, as Tess has started a flying lap. We also have a Red Bull a little bit further up going down the Camel Straight. You would imagine that'd be Iwatts in the second Red Bull, but he's on an outlap. Going through Radion for the first time then is Tess, and we have a yellow flag in Sector 2. It's just car going slowly. Mr. Commentator, you have to know where Radion is, though, right? Says Dominic Gokart. I am incredibly aware of where Radion is. Thank you very much. So we just go on board with Darren Stahl, and let's prove it. Going through a route is small left-hander. Radion is the right and left heading up the hill. And it's also the place where Darren Stahl has just invalidated his first flying lap of this session. And I doubt it'll be the last one to do so, as Undercheck has started off strong with 142.890, which even I, who haven't raced in quite a while, knows is a very fast lap time. And Noah with a 143.414 will need to go a lot faster if he wants to get that NEF1 victory. As was that a car going sideways? That is Recon coming out of the bus stop chicane onto the back, onto the start-finish straight, and that is a front wing. You would imagine gone. Yes, that's an M plate gone. Which, to be fair, if there's a track that you want an M plate gone around, it would probably be either this or Monza. Probably not for qualifying though. You're better off for the race. As Sam has come across for P4, Wigan for P5, and Matt for P2 with a 143.333. Djokovic now with a P5, and Tess has put in the fastest lap by a margin. It's a 1:42.462, 4/10 of a second quicker than Ondrejek, which is scary, that level of pace. Let's see even, the man who we maybe thought would be in straight championship contention at the beginning of the season, now lingering down in 5th in the standings, is Nasi 31. It's had a difficult first half to the season, a couple of races missed, and the results really haven't been what he would have wanted after those initial 4 rounds. It has dropped off a Ferrari, massively trailing in the Constructors' Championship, now in a battle to hang on to 3rd place. We'll see if they are able to maintain that gap. For a couple of reasons, I am not really going to be able to effectively show off the championship graphics at the moment. I'll try to work on it, see if I can come up with a solution. We'll wait and see. And that is a massive lap time from Squidgstat with a 1:42.124. Jesus Christ, that is blistering pace from the Williams man, as Darren Style is heading through sector 2 as we speak. Oh, it's just touching the gravel on the outside coming out of the corner. So then, heading into the 3rd sector, is there any way that Darren can recover this lap after that little spat in sector 2? So 1:15.7 going through the 2nd sector with that gravel touch. You would imagine this is going to be a lap that puts him, if not at the very bottom, then you would expect him to slot in maybe between Sam Obama and Wigan at best. We'll wait and see. This the bus stop chicane to Ghost. Could still abort this lap, obviously, if he deems it no good. Oh, and a little bit loose coming out of the first part of bus stop chicane. It's going to be a 44.686, and not good enough to beat out Wigan, who is currently 2nd to last out of everyone who's at a time. Hybrids racing a serve for McLaren tonight as well. Let's see how he's able to hang on. And Alpaca in her 2nd full-time race for Haas, 3rd time overall with an NEF1 appearance. As Alpaca, 1 point to her name. Is she going to be able to double on Battle more this week? We'll wait and see, as Iwatts has problems going through sector. That's just the beginning of sector 3, isn't it? Indeed it is. San Ondrejek has improved on that 2nd lap to 1:42.456. That is 6 thousandths of a second quicker than Tess in the championship lead at the moment. And the Williams outing looks strong at the moment. So it's all good, Iwatts. No pressure whatsoever. As he's coming across the line, here's at a 1:44.712, slowest out of anyone so far. We have Kit and Recon out on outlaps. Where is Matty at the moment? He's on an outlap. With 9 minutes 30 to go. So then Matty in that number 9, Aston Martin. What is he going to be able to do on a 2nd run? Is he going to be able to improve past Tess? He'll have to improve by a 2nd to get up to that level. There's a massive pace gap between the top 3 and the rest of the field. Noah's on the lap, heading into the 1st corner. What is he going to be able to do up a Rouge and Radion? 43.414 at the moment. Realistically, the ceiling, if you're being completely honest, P4 for everyone else this session. There's such a massive gap up to the top 3 that I don't really think he can improve over the course of a lap. Noah's improved about 2 tenths in the 1st sector, which is it's a very good improvement, to be fair. He's now gone along strong in sector 2. We'll wait and see how he does in this sector 2, where realistically you can probably gain the most time out of anywhere in the lap, and the The track in front makes a good job, does a good job of getting out of the way. Now, and I'm really intrigued about this Sector 2 time. Can I get anywhere close to that top 3? If so, then we have a game on our hands. If not, then we can probably lock in the top 3 right now. Maybe Nasi could pull an upset. We'll wait and see. We're still waiting his first lap of this session. As Noah comes across, he's improving, but not nearby enough. But on this pace, he'll pull a bit of a gap on Matty Adams 16, which is all he can really hope for. His old teammate as well. That's going to be a little bit of a rivalry, I'm sure, and he's going to enjoy beating out Matty, one-time NEF1 champion, back in Season 2, to the second row of the grid here. As Noah does improve up into that 4th place by about 2.5 tenths of a second over Matty Adams 16. Djokovic's out on the lap, hunting time as well. The 2 McLarens, P7 and P8. Sam on P9, Alpaca in 10th. Still awaiting laps from Nasi, Recon, Mr. Wilco. As that's a lovely little tow from Noah for Nasi. He'll be appreciative, I'm sure. Probably gain you at that very straight. Probably a good tempo to you, imagine. Wait and see once again then as he comes up to that beloved Sector 2, Sector 3 split. That's when we're going to get a lot of information. Alpaca's retired from this session, maybe on pit entry. By the look of things, if you look at the track map on the right hand side, that's a pit entry incident for Alpaca. She's out of this session. P11 at best then for the Haas. As this looking like a calm, nice collected lap from Nasivis. The smoother it looks, the quicker it usually is, and this looks incredibly smooth. It's 14.429 going through the second sector. So this might well be a really, really good lap. Then we have Tess about to come across line just after Nasi. This is going to give us a decent indicator as well. At the moment, he's being qualified by Squidge by 3 tenths of a second. Underchecked by about 6 thousandths of a second. It's a bit closer. Here we go then. Nasi across the line. Is it going to be good enough for P1? No, it's not. P4. But it does close up the gap a little bit to the front run. So 42.649. So it's a good showing at the moment from the Ferrari boys, P4 and P5. That's a nice little duo, that. Nasi and Noah. Good teammate pairing. As Tess Van now going through Puon. As Dominic saying, Williams world domination is the plan, I see. Williams is doing, they're doing very, very well at the moment. And at this pace, it'll be hard to stop them. We'll wait and see. But Tess is not improving on this lap, let me tell you that. Recon in the pit lane will go with a 15.7 for the second sector. So a couple of people yet to make a big mark. We have a field spread of just less than 3 seconds at the moment, which is high. Keep in mind, this is the longest circuit on the NEF1 calendar, so larger gaps are to be expected. This might be larger than anticipated. Wilco qualifies Kit. Get up to 15th and second last out of anyone who set a time. BT unfortunately will not be able to set a time. He retired early on in the session. I don't quite know for what. You can imagine maybe a game issue. The way he retired so quickly. Noah's headed back on track already with 3:30 to go. That is quite early. For the Maltese Minister of Defense. We'll wait and see how he gets on here. Thunder checks out hunting time relatively early as well. It's going through Sector 2 at the moment. That's the out lap. I don't know if there's anyone on quick lap at the moment. Darren is. So when he's about to come across the line, can he pull a bit of an improvement? No, he cannot. By 600ths of a second. Fails to beat his previous time. Iwatts is improving. Question is by how far? So here we go, when Iwatts across the line, what is he going to be able to do in the second Red Bull? 13th. So 13th for Iwatts, 14th for Darren, 15th for Wilco. Now Recon is out on a lap, we'll need to get a time on the board. As Noah's going through the third part of the lap to start his flying. I believe Noah might be the first across the line to start the last group of flying laps. We'll wait and see. The battle for pole position at the moment is interesting. Squidge with a significant advantage out front, 42.125. Did he just ace that lap? Or does he have that much of a pace advantage over Undercheck and Tess? If that's the case, it'll be scary to deal with. Good line from Noah through the final corner. I'm surprised more people don't do that. They just gain themselves those extra hundreds of a second from just prolonging that first straight a little bit. That's some good thinking from the Ferrari driver there. And heading towards Rouge and Radion. Very careful to not dip 2 wheels over the line. You're very, very inclined to cut that inside on the top of the hill as much as you can, but no, it doesn't really touch the curb too much as well there. Just takes a pretty nice straight line. And just powers down the Kemmel straight towards this braking zone. Left-right chicane. The right-left chicane, where incidents in the race is so common from going battling side by side there. Are we going to see any side-by-side action into that corner tonight? Wait and see, but the fence here is going to be incredibly difficult for every single driver in this race. This might, though, be one of the places where you can extend a 1 second gap. The Kemmel straight, after that, the next DRS zone is on the start-finish straight just ahead of it. So maybe we'll see some people be able to get out and break away. It would be a refreshing change of pace as this session is about to conclude. Tess has just started a flying lap. Now is about to close up on his. He's improving. Now he needs to improve because Jamar has at the first time of this last run, and he's improved up to P5. Noah on schedule to beat that by a couple of tenths of a second. Maybe take his teammate Nasi as well if he can get a good exit out of the final corner. Yes, he does. P4 for Noah. It's a good qualifying effort indeed. Actually gets very, very close to Tesson on the check. Commendments out for Noah for a good qualifying effort. Now, where are the front boys? I'm interested. Undercheck having to cede position to Squidge on a qualifying lap. That'd be Undercheck's lap indeed, does surely. He's dropping back massively. Squidge now, has that hindered his performance at all, or is Undercheck just playing the team game here, trying to get Squidge further up the order? Is team games already starting to happen at Williams? If that's the case, this championship could prove scary for Tess Quick, because he's going to have a difficult time dealing with the duo of Undercheck and Squidge. That's a rapid duo that Tess very well could find himself in some trouble with. We'll wait and see how this ensues. Tess improving, not by a massive amount. Squidge, he is improving, and by a lot, and we could see a landslide of a pole position here from Squidge 2017, which could take oh my goodness, this is going to be interesting to see. Nasi takes P2 away from Undercheck and Tess, just a tenth of a second off. Tess, what is he going to be able to do across the line? It is going to be P1 for Tess at the moment, but Squidge, he is going to be improving. P1 will be his by 0.2 of a second, so not the gap that we were expecting, but still a very, very good time indeed. Undercheck is not going to get another lap in. We'll see him again for the race. He's going to be starting P4 at best. That's a good lap from Tess, who really pulled up a lot of time in that last sector. Squidge, though, proves to be the qualifying master, really, of this season, with yet another pole position. Jamar coming into the pits. What looked to be a really good promising start turned out to be a P7 in the end. still a very positive result for him at this place. P8 for Matty Adam, P9 for Hybrid, P10 for Wigan. Samo and Alpaca just missing out, along with Iwatts, Darren, Wilco, Kit, Ibiti, nor Recon. Didn't set a time throughout the entire session. Recon not getting a time on the board. So that is an interesting qualifying for sure. Squidged down with pole position. He did get help from Undercheck on that lap. How much worth was that help in securing that pole position? Just shy of 3 attempts was the gap in the end. We'll wait and see what Tez is going to be able to bring to the table for the Grand Prix. Nasi in third, Undercheck in fourth, Noah in fifth with a very, very good effort there. But you can see only the top 5 was able to get within a second of Squidge. After that, we have a field spread of just over 3 seconds down to Kit. So this will be a bit of a weird race. Kit, for some reason, qualifying on the medium tyres for no reason whatsoever. But then, that'll be it for qualifying this Belgian Grand Prix. We'll be with you in a couple of minutes' time for full race coverage of the Belgian Grand Prix. So don't go anywhere. We'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back shortly. So then everyone, we are back for coverage of the Belgian Grand Prix. Still waiting for a little bit longer before we get this show underway. But we've got a real interesting stat, and thank you very much to Tess for bringing this to my attention. The qualifying pole position time this season has improved 0.8 of a second over the pole position time that was set last season in the F1, which is an improvement like you would not believe. 0.8 of a second is absolutely incredible. So the quality of driving this season is massively improving, and especially the pace of the front runners is really has escalated up to a whole new level. So that is absolutely brilliant to see, that natural progression from the drivers just pushing each other to get quicker and quicker. The ready up has been given in chat, and everyone is free to get this show underway. We'll be racing in just a little bit of time. Should be said as well that the pole position for last season was also set by Squidge 2017, so it's just improved 0.8 heading into this season, apart from last. But just like qualifying session here, evidently, the Squidge 2017. So good luck to him for the Grand Prix. We'll see how things transpire. This is going to be an interesting one. Squidge versus Tess once again. As then you can see Squidge on the middle of your screen just then, starting to prepare to get this race underway. We have Tess behind him. Looking down further, we have Nas in third, followed by Ondrzejczyk in fourth, Noah in fifth, then we have Djokovic in sixth, Jamer in seventh, Matty in eighth, Hybrid is ninth, just coming up by Rouge and the Hill, and now then he is followed by Wigan Zamobamo, Alpaca Iwat, Darren Style in that Sauber, followed by Mr. Wilco, Kit, as you can see on the middle of your screen now. A BT starting P17 after a game issue cost him qualifying, and Recon in 18th, not able to set a time throughout the entirety of qualifying session. Is he in for a difficult one? You would imagine so, but we'll wait and see. A lot can happen over the course of this Belgian Grand Prix for sure. So then Squidge trying to weave to get his tyres in order. Soft tyres on for Squidge at the start here. Same for Tess. Hard tyres on for Natty. That is passive. Really passive. Then we have mediums on for Ondrzejczyk. And soft tyres again on for Noah. A lot of softs and a lot of mediums. Hard tyres on the start around Belgium. Feels like a very bad choice unless you're starting from the very back, trying to go long into this race. But when you have something to really fight for, I am doubtful that it's a good strategy. We'll wait and see, because we'll know in not too long. All the cars now piling on to the start-finish rate, and we are about to get this race underway. Squidge, Tess, Nazi, Ondrzejczyk and Noah is your top 5 for the Belgian Grand Prix. So here we go, we have 5 red lights, and it is lights on, away we go, and Squidge gets away well. So does the Ferrari behind him, has to slot in behind Tess, who tries to challenge Squidge around the outside. He's going to get shown the door relatively early on. 3 wide and a half going wide into the gravel trap. That is Alpaca having a problem right at the start. It's relatively clean turn 1, no big incidents. Now going up the hill then. This is where Squidge is going to have a massive problem defending from the straight line speed of the Red Bull behind him. It's a straight drag race now with no slipstream, no DRS. That is punching a hole in the air for the Ferrari and the Williams behind them, but they're just going to stay back for the time being. Squidge hangs on in the lead of the Grand Prix. We have a McLaren with an issue heading up a route already on. That is Hybrid, who has dropped a massive amount already just after a couple of corners time. But Squidge hangs on to the lead, followed by Nasi, Undercheck, Djokovic and Noah. Djokovic getting past the Ferrari of Noah early on in this lap. There are no massive winners in this start. One massive loser is Hybrid, qualifying well, now down into last. Possible race strategies, you can see we're predicted one stop, soft to medium tires. 22 lap Grand Prix this. Pit stop lap from lap 10 to 14. That is just a prediction, not a rule, should be stated. We have a little bit of a gap forming towards the rear of the field. That is Alpaco's fallen behind Mr. Wilco by a couple of seconds already. Not a promising start for her. Also, Kit is 2 seconds back of the back of Wigan. But then Tess has been able to get past Squidge. When did that happen? You would imagine a little bit of an iffy moment. But the way racing has been in this league in the past, you would imagine the Squidge is going to be able to fight his way back relatively quickly and is going to be jostling for position. Tess hits the inside wall, and that is clumsy from Tess. That's turning too early, and that is going to give Squidge a bit of momentum going up Rouge and Radion. Does Tess have any damage on that Red Bull? Hard to see as everyone's flying through Radion now and is going to be aggressive. Nasi looks aggressive on the outside. Maybe turns into the inside. 3 wide potentially heading down the Camel Straight. Squidge takes back the lead of the Grand Prix from Tess and Nasi, that is. Undercheck in 4th, battling Wade. That's a problem for someone, it looked like, but no, it is not. Never mind me. Decent start for Recon, up 5 positions, keeping it nice and clean. As you can see, there's a lot of different tyre variables going on. Nasi doing well at the moment, actually, on that hard tyre, keeping it fired up and able to hang on at the start here. I would expect him to fall away. He's doing a good job at the moment. It's Nasi 51. He's followed by former championship rival Ondercheck and Djokovic. These 3 used to dominate NEF1 a little while back. Now it is Tess and Squidge in lead at this Grand Prix, and those 3 maybe heading into a bit of an underdog status heading into the second half of the season. Undercheck, this is only his 2nd race back, so let's not be too quick to judge on any type of performances until it's going back up to speed. And Squidge here is looking quick. He is breaking away a little bit. But this is the sad thing, that gap is most likely going to be eaten away now by Tess under the DRS. It's hard to break away. It is even harder when the DRS is so incredibly effective. See, just with the slipstream then, he's just gaining and gaining time, but not as to a massive extent as you would have believed. Now it's to find 5 tenths of a second over the course of a lap to maybe start building on something. And he is pulling away, coming out of the corners here. Squidge is looking quick. Going down further, Matty's in the thick of it between Noah and Jamar, 2 experienced NEF1 drivers. Jamar with seniority, Noah with maybe the upside in pace. Very close between Noah and Jamar. Former teammates have come together as well on a couple of occasions. I don't think there's any particular love lost between those 2, as Undercheck now is doing everything he can to hang on to the back of Tess, because the gap's 8 tenths of a second now, not far off that 1 second gap. As Matty's incredibly close to the back of the Ferrari. He's maybe going to send something down inside into the bus stop chicane. No, he does not. As Ondercheck has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, with the Edison slipstream, I'm sure. Prix eats into the advantage that Tess had on him a little bit. Now down to about 5.5 tenths of a second. Samo now is putting pressure on Wigan 71 for the lower points paying positions in P9 and P10. Samu got a podium in Miami earlier this season. After that, I haven't quite been able to replicate that from Winnesey if he can, as I believe Tess is about to take away the lead of the Grand Prix from Squidge, and he does. Nasty trying to fight back on Undercheck, who took away P3 just a while ago. We missed that one, unfortunately. Which is to be predicted with Nasty with those hard ties. But is that going to give him a strategy bolster heading into the end of the race? We'll wait and see. Hard ties, not a predicted use tire for the soft runners. You would expect a soft to medium maybe around this place. Does Nasty know something that we don't? We'll wait and see. Squidge is keeping Tess very honest here throughout this entire lap. A level of honesty that Tess couldn't really keep Squidge under. So then, heading into the box stop, Squidge still behind Tess. Are there any moves really about to set off? Recon is round the back of Darren, and this one could turn a little bit interesting. Nice slipstream for Recon heading into the box stop, and you would imagine with this sort of a momentum, he's going to go for something maybe around the outside of Darren, gives him room, and if he can pull that off, it's a nice little move on Darren, who goes into the pit lane, which to be fair does make that move a little bit easier for Recon. Darren into the pit lane on lap 5. That is early to make a pit stop. Here we go, and now Tess in a bad situation because he could end up behind 2 Williams at the end of this straight. Is it likely? Potentially. Here comes Undercheck on Tess, round the outside maybe. He's going to give it a go. Tess cannot allow that contact between Squidge and Tess. But Tess just hangs on. Undercheck tries round the outside. That's going to open the door for Nasty maybe to try something down the inside. Just not quite successful. It's a good move from the Williams boys, trying, but Tess just held on to that one. That's a nice little battle. As we have Recon down in position on Alpaca now, trying to get past. Now what is right there as well on the soft tires. As Noah as well has already come in for a set of hards. Just earlier when it was predicted, and I didn't think those hard tires would come into play, but just trying some sort of undercut. Try to gain a little bit of time, and is the undercut effective around a place like this? As Undercheck is keeping Tess incredibly honest at the moment. Oh, and the two just lock wheels heading into the bus stop chicane, or heading towards the bus stop chicane. Is anyone going to try something ending into the braking zone? No, but Undercheck maybe could have. It's those mediums starting to fire up in a better way than the softs, because Undercheck is looking good right now. He's looking really good on the back of Tess, and he could maybe just try to hinder him a little bit by sending a bit of a maybe silly move, but an audacious move down the inside. Squidge in desperate need to beat Tess here for a couple of points back in the Drivers' Championship, because Tess established an advantage, as you can see earlier on in this stream, in between race and qual. Here comes Nasivan on the inside of Tess. Is going to be able to make that work. Wait and see. The outside, not a bad place to be if you want to defend around here, but Nasi looks like he's going to have that position signed, sealed and delivered. Tess is still there, and is Undercheck going to be able to capitalize on this? He's for sure going to try, setting it up with a little bit of a wide line. You got a front row seat for this one. Still side by side. This is beneficial to Squidge, let me tell you that, who is now a second away. So that has worked out nice for Squidge if he can keep that momentum up. Now then, Nasi and Undercheck doing battle, Tess and Nasi doing battle for an entire sector basically. And that has really cost Tess a lot of time up front. At the moment, not beneficial with that pace deficit. The thing is now, you could maybe slipstream your way back into DRS contention here with a little bit of jumping with each other. You can't get caught up in a battle along with each other though. Nasi on those hard tires that seemingly is starting to fire up. Squidge still outside the 1 second gap. Ever so slightly. As Tess now is going to be left vulnerable with no DRS going down the Kemmel Straight. Nasty gets a massive slipstream on him. Tess, who's really pushed to try to get past. Beatty gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. It's a penalty that can be removed after the race, let me remind you. But this is how much time you gain with deltas and DRS and ERS. Nasty now 0.3 of a second behind Squidge. That is the 1 second evaporated. And it's such a shame that it's like that. You can't establish an advantage. And I really, at this moment, do feel for Squidge. Because he'd earned that advantage. It was taken away because he didn't have no DRS while Nasty got a massive 0.7 of a second advantage down the Kemmel Straight. As Matty now trying to have a go at Tess. Tess is falling back a little bit. In this race, not really seeming happy on those soft tires. Puffs of smoke just appearing every now and again. Matty should mention in an all black helmet for the night as well, in tribute of Spenklos, who's left the league, or has vacated his seat, should be said. You can't see it on stream as well. He's got a red heart and at the front of that helmet. It's a nice little show of friendship between Matty and Spenklos. This league has developed quite a big friends group, and obviously those two a big part of it. Now then, Matty and Tess heading into turn 1. Matty gets ahead of the Red Bull driver. This is an interesting situation now. Squidge out front, followed by Nasty, Undercheck, Matty. Now Tess down in 5th. But it is giving shades of Italy all over again, which is memories that Matty definitely will not want to relive. As here comes Nasty for the race lead on lap 8, and is going to secure that race lead on the hard tyres, seemingly working a lot better than anything else at the moment. Good move from Nasty, takes the race lead away. Now Squidge and Undercheck, what a strategy that the two Williams boys go for. Do they allow Undercheck on that medium to start chasing after Matty, or does Undercheck pull a little bit of blockage for Squidge on the softs ahead of him? Tess is not far away from losing the DRS again. 0.8 of a second, over 0.8 of a second, and losing time. He's gonna get a big slipstream down this next straight though. That gap is just about a second. We'll see if Tess can hold on. If not, he might be in a bit of trouble at the moment. Very easily could be left behind here without that DRS. Tess at the moment still remaining in that zone. When is Squidge going to come into the pit lane? Try to execute some sort of undercut. He needs to play this smart and not really hang on to this tire too long. He's losing time now. Smartest thing, probably let his teammate go. Try to put up a defense on Matty. Maybe come into the pit at the end of this lap. There's not much Squidge can do about that one. Tess has lost DRS on the front runners. So now it is Nasty, Undercheck and Matty for the front three. And Squidge needs to come up with something here. I don't know quite what. But it needs to come up with something, and come up with something quite quick strategy-wise. The hard tires seemingly are working quite well. Where is our good friend Noah. He's up in 8th position at the moment. And he is, by the look of things, gaining just a little bit of time on those leaders at the moment. And Squidge staying out for another lap whilst Tess is coming in. That's a mistake from Squidge, not capitalizing on that very decent moment to pit. Now Tess, unless he gets caught in traffic, which by the look of things is unlikely, is going to have a good advantage for an undercut. And Squidge, that's a bad strategy call from the Williams man, staying out longer, unless we have a safety car. But we've seen no sign that one is even close yet. No real incidents so far this race. As Matty has powered his way to P3 at the moment, and hunting down Nasty in quite an effective manner as well. Undercheck and Squidge right on their hill. You can see Squidge just a couple of further attempts back. See, BT gets a free second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. That is rough, and Djokovic has the fastest lap at the Grand Prix so far. Whereas Tess come out P5 with a significant margin down to Noah. Is an undercut potentially a way to go here? Or is an overcut potentially a way to go? You can see Squidge is losing a lot of time to Tess at the moment. He made the wrong call, and he will pay for it when he does inevitably come into pit, unless he tries something very different now. No, Squidge has to cut his losses, come into pit, but it is a lap too late, and Tess will come out ahead of that Williams. Medium tyres on for Squidge. I'll get him to the end of the race. But then undercut successfully performed from Tess on his championship rival. Oh, and is that one that caused they'll live to regret. 1.5 seconds now the gap on cold tyres as well. Probably going to turn into a good 1.7, 1.8 by the time those tyres are fired up. Matty now in the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 11. We're already halfway through this Grand Prix. No real sign of safety car yet. No incidents taking place. Competitive between most of them. Still awaiting pit stops from 3 guys, and it is the 3 front runners. Everyone else has come in their minimum 1 time. Noah, 3 second time penalty. Multiple track limit warnings could come to bite him come the end of the race. As Tess now is eating up a massive amount of time on the front guys as well. It's not ideal. Matty's staying out, so is Nasty, so is Undercheck. As Djokovic sitting down in 14th. What has happened to Djokovic this race? Sitting in 14th, and by the look of things on merit as well. Tested fastest lap at Grand Prix, now 1.7 ahead of Squidge. Keep in mind the Squidge who was a bit behind the front runners now. So Tess scheduled to take the lead of this Grand Prix after the pit stop phase. Noah coming into the pit lane for a new front wing. That's going to be a big hindrance to his race, and is that potentially the chance for points gone? He'll need a good recovery drive in order to make something of this now. Kit sitting in the points for the first, would be his first points in the NEF1 if I'm not mistaken. Sitting in P10. As it's still very competitive between the front three. Nasi, Matti and Ondrzej, neither willing to give each other track position, and they just keep slowing each other down to a point where they're gonna come out a good couple of seconds behind Squidge right now. As Ondrzej is first to pull the trigger for a set of new tyres. Soft's going on with less than half the race to go. It's a decent call. Is he going to be able to nurture those to the end? He's got a lighter car now than he did 13 laps ago, and I can assure you of that. Soft tyres on them. The hunt is on, but 2 seconds behind Squidge. So basically 4 seconds behind Tess now. Could prove difficult even with the tyre advantage. The thing is, when he gets up to Tess, he's no longer going to have that tyre advantage because Soft is going to burn out. The gap was 16.7 seconds come the beginning of the stint. Now down to 12.8 between Nasi and Tess. Just showing how effective that undercut truly is at the moment. Matti and Nasi are going to come out nowhere near. As here we go, when Nasi stays out, Matti though comes into the pit lane on lap 14. Nasi staying out even further on the hard tyres, needing to make something work, it feels like. Squidge, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And how's Ondrzej doing on that soft? Not really closing in. If he is closing in, it's by a small amount. Matti comes out a ways behind them. As Iwatts picks himself up an unnecessary freezing time penalty. Iwatts, who is not unchallenged from behind from Kit, he's not going to be able to get up to Wigan, it feels like, unless Wigan makes a big mistake. Wigan, who for sure has a size set on Sam Obama, 4 seconds up the road. Difficult, but not impossible to make up that type of gap. Tess now only 10 seconds to Nasi in first, and that is almost a pit stop under virtual safety car. That's those 10 seconds. As ABT picks himself up 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and this race is going awful for ABT right now. As Nasi finally comes into the pit lane, we expect him though to come out quite a ways behind Matti. Adam, unfortunately. And instead maybe medium tyres on for Nasi. Is he going hard to medium? What is he doing? Unless the tyre wear on that car is absolutely dreadful, Nasi has just shafted his strategy. That is an awful call from Nassi, who's now 3.5 seconds behind Matty, and on a worse tyre. What is Nassi doing? What is that Ferrari? It's worse than actual Ferrari strategy, that. I'm sorry, Nassi, but what was that call? Stay out that late, on instead of medium tyres, no less. Basically not giving himself an advantage with only 7 laps to go. As for Squidge, has been able to get into the 1 second gap of Tess, and we have a battle for the win of the Grand Prix yet again. Gap is switching between 9/10 of a second to 1.1. Matty just holding on at the moment. P4 for Matty Adam. P4 for Matty Adam at the moment. He's just racking up good results, but not quite those ones that he would have wanted. So here comes Tess and Squidge, just over a second. Dominic saying let Nassi cook up strategy here. Watch out the 6th lap, those tyres grow wings. Well, they might be the better tyre, or they will be the best tyres come the end of the race. But the advantage is not going to be that significant unless Nassi can work miracles with them. He's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to compete for a podium or even a win here. A win or even a podium. That's going to be difficult. Squidge, DRS open, still just outside that 1 second gap. Djokovic's now on the inside, or on the back of Iwatts. Alpine at the moment running an 8 and 10. Wigan the leading Alpine this race. So here then, Djokovic comes down the inside of Iwatts, takes that position away under braking zone. Fortunately for Iwatts with those penalties as well, we'll see if he's able to hang on to the points at the end of this one. No one inside the top 9 with penalties, which I think says a lot. And now then, just over a second's worth of a gap between Squidge and Tess as well. Question is, would it be smarter for the Williams boys to start using each other for help? Allow maybe Undertake to get past Squidge with the aid of some DRS here. Try to pull yourself closer that way. Les Squidge might have just gone within the DRS here. Is going to be able to get a bit closer. And yes, he is now convincingly within that 1 second gap and hunting down the championship leader, and now what must be described as the driver who should win this championship. If he will, that's another question, but he absolutely should with the advantage that he has. With 8 races to go, 7 races to go after this one. 8 races to go after this one, sorry. Alpaca has had a quiet but difficult race tonight. Currently sitting in 15th, running a race all of her own in between Mr. Wilco and Hybrid. Reminder to everyone outside the top 10 that the fastest lap point can be acquired by anyone. You don't have to be in the top 10 to get it. Now then, we have a battle for the win. Tess and Squidge separated by 4/10 of a second, and this is what we're used to now. Here we go. Nassi's now on the back of Matty Adam. What is he going to be able to do from there? Slightly better tyres maybe in a lap or two, but those softs should be holding on. Going up Radion with Squidge then. How much does he have to deploy? How much does Tess have to defend with? Here comes Squidge for the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 18. Takes that lead away from Tess, who almost runs into the back of him on the braking. Does well to avoid it. Now then, Squidge back into the lead of this race. Undercheck's fallen back. He's running a very, very solid P3, but I'm sure that if the results are the way they are, Williams would take the lead in the Constructors, but I'm not positive. It'll be very close, that's for certain. iWatts needs to step up a little bit for these next couple of races. But we've got Austria coming up in a couple of weeks, where iWatts is a two-time winner, if I'm not mistaken. And Nassi now within a tenth of a second of Matty, pushing him around the second sector. As Tess is pushing Squidge round the bus stop chicane. But everything's very, very neutral apart from this front battle. So Nassi on the back of Matty Adam for fourth. Then we have Squidge and Tess for the win. Undercheck has started closing in on that battle. Is he going to be able to join it? We'll wait and see. Those mediums of Tess and Squidge now starting to get up there in age. Here we go. Tess on Squidge for the lead of the Grand Prix. He's not going to go down to the braking zone. Tess will have that position covered off by the time we get to the corner. As Matty has been done by Nassi as well, and Nassi is now starting to wake up a little bit. 3 laps to go after this one, with 1.8 up to Undercheck is not impossible. After that is a steep road. So then, 3 laps to go. Tess Squidge is your front 2. We have a battle for P4 as well. It is Nassi and Matty Adam. Those are the 2 battles currently alive. Everyone else spread out quite nicely. Jamar in 6th, followed by Samo in 7th. Wigan and Djokovic in 8th and 9th, and iWatts in 10th. Gonna have a look at the penalties. Mostly 3 second time penalties. 18 seconds for Wilco. And I think that's a record-setting 45-second penalty for a BT, which is, I'm just gonna say, unfortunate. But I'm curious as to what has happened to Noah this race. Qualified very well, looked pacey from the start. Then something must have gone wrong, and now sitting him down in P12. Down in P12, looking like he's going to get no points coming away from the Belgian Grand Prix. Unless he can pull off a miracle over the next couple of laps to get past iWatts. He'll have to lap about 3 seconds a lap quicker than him in order to make that work. So here we go then. probably gearing up for final lap melee, is Squidge and Tess. Nasty just contemplating, should he go for the move, but to see him on the podium at the expense of Undercheck and take that double Williams podium away. Say BT just pushing on until this race is over, so respect to him for that. So Recon has had an issue heading around the pit straight. As now then, with less than 2 laps to go, Tess leads the Grand Prix from Squidge. Gonna have one more go up the Camel Straight. It is gonna be incredibly interesting as BT with severe game issues at the moment. Maybe not going to be able to get a proper result on the board, but I don't think it matters the way his race has gone so far. Noah, valiant effort to get past Kit on lap 21 is not quite going to be enough for points. Maybe a fastest lap. Now he's not gone for it. That point at the moment belongs to Nasi. But here we go then. We're heading towards that final lap. The final lap showdown between Tess and Squidge. I'm going to give you a bit of insider information now on stream. So you can see on the right hand side of the telemetry toggle, this is what it currently looks like. Wait and see. Squidge 2017 man, with everything to gain. He's not won a race for a long time now in NEF1. Couple of races, I think 5 or 6. He'd love a win here in Belgium. He's going to have one go at this. Up the Camel Straight. He's getting a massive slipstream on. And he needs to get past Tess on this straight. You can see Tess. He is maintaining a healthy gap up front. Squidge closes in. Is it going to go down to the braking zone? Yes, it is. Squidge with that outside. Turns to the inside. Gets Tess at the end. And now we have one more straight to determine this. But Squidge with a brilliant move. And is he going to be able to pull away slightly on this lap? Tess needs to remain cool if he wants a shot at this win, because there is one straight heading into the bus stop chicane where this could go down as well. Squidge has got to be prepared for that now. He'll have an onslaught coming come that straight with no DRS, but still a massive slipstream in a couple of corners time. Nasi has made it past Undercheck, so is Matty. Undercheck must have had some sort of issue down in P5 at the moment. Squidge right now in the lead. Now, is Tess going to be able to snatch that off him? Here we go. Here comes the final attack from Tess. Is Squidge going to be able to hang on? And Tess here is doing everything he can. The two evenly matched. He's going to come down to the braking zone, heading into the bus stop chicane. Tess on the outside, Squidge on the inside. Who's going to get really naughty off the corner? Where's Squidge gone? Has Squidge cracked under pressure? Yes, he has! Squidge has cracked under pressure, no! And Tess takes the win of the Belgian Grand Prix. Squidge could not hold on. And Nasi with P3. But what happened to Squidge? We didn't have a good angle. But that is heartbreaking for Squidge, who led into the final corner. But something went wrong. Nasi with P3, Matu in 4th, Undercheck in 5th. Still a good result for him yet again. Solid points for Williams. Jamar picks up a good result in 6th. Samo in 7th. Good points for RB. And he leads his little division of the championship down there in points scored this race. Wigan in 8th. Yet again, solid points finishes now for Wigan. Up there, yet another 4 points. Djokovic in 9th. And Noah just finishing inside the points there at the end on penalties, I believe, after Watts. Has he lost it on the straight? I definitely has. Kid is going to come home to finish in P12 with Alpaca in 13th. But oh my god, that is heartbreaking for Squidge. Missing out on the win by 1.2 seconds. But it was one mistake of the braking zone is what went on. Darren drifting across the line. Mr. Wilco in 15th. Recon in 16th. Hybrid DNFing for whatever reason, I don't know. And a BT finishing this race in last. Oh, that is heartbreaking for Squidge. Massive congratulations to Tess. He put on a level of pressure on that final lap that Squidge just simply couldn't match. Should Squidge have won that race, it was his to lose at the end there. Side by side heading into the final corner. The bus stop chicane, they could have gone side by side over the line potentially. But I think Squidge just would have had that with a bit more cool in him. Just couldn't quite keep it calm under brakes. It's a double front lockup from Squidge from what we're hearing from him. And that has cost him 25 points and a chance to catch up to Tess in the Drivers' Championship. Tess, yet again, with a victory here, and he is getting closer and closer to his first Drivers' Championship. What a race to start off the second half to the season. As you can see, Tess just beating out Squidge and Nassi. Nassi with the fastest lap for Ferrari. Good result that for Nassi. He'll need that confidence boost. Matt in fourth, followed by Ondercheck in fifth. Scores a decent amount of points for Williams on his Williams debut. P6 for Jamar, 7th for Samo, 8th for Wigan, 9th for Djokovic. And Noah finishes in 10th after a good recovery drive after something happened to him on that first stint. We will be back next week for what is the Mystery Grand Prix. We are heading to a track that no driver will know until everyone is in the lobby and we're all set. The track will be chosen by myself before the race starts, but no driver will know where we're heading before that session timer begins. That is going to be an interesting one. All drivers with a bit of an unknown element. What are they going to focus on? What element are they going to practice on? We'll wait and see. Until then, we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. Congratulations, Tess, once again. Peace out. We'll see you next week for the Mystery Grand Prix here in NEF1.